So I was playing a game against a warrior, and then this happened. Death Grip steals my Dragonhawk, which was incredibly annoying. One of my first games playing this deck, and my Dragonhawk gets stolen. Now, the Hex Lord, it's good value, I guess, but when you know that your opponent has your Dragonhawk, there's really nothing that can console you. And so as he got control of the board, as he then played my card, and got my Ragnaros, it was really game over. There's nothing we could do. So he gets lethal with Rag. Really, really sad. That was supposed to be my lethal. Okay, what deck am I playing today? I'm playing Freschca's Big Spell Mage, and it's of course running Jan'alai the Dragonhawk. Now, this is a card that I really wanted to play in wild mode, but if you've watched Dane's video recently, you'll see that the Dragonhawk played with Brann Bronzebeard, with Brann, of course, doubling the summon, the battle cry, so you get 2 rags on board. That interaction seems to crash the game, and until Blizzard can fix it, I guess I'm stuck to playing this card in Standard. This is not such a bad thing, you know. Taking a trip into Standard from time to time is good. It gives me a break from Wild. I play mostly Wild, so playing a bit of Standard is refreshing. But I just wish Blizzard would hurry up and fix the bug, or maybe they've already fixed it by the time you're watching this video, I don't know. I mean, it's not as if Blizzard are a small indie company. I mean, they are a large $1 million, if not billion-dollar company, so hopefully they'll get that sorted very soon. So this deck is you know, it's a control deck primarily. You have spells that can control the board: Blizzard, Meteor, Flame Strike. You've got Prince Keleseth in this deck, and if you're lucky enough to play him on turn 2, he buffs the rest of your deck. That does give you quite a significant advantage. But the idea is to control the board, and then to start playing your threats, your big minions, specifically Astromancer, of course the Dragonhawk, because hopefully by that time your hero power has done enough damage. Hexlord, Malakras gives you back a copy of your opening hand. That's pretty sweet, that's value orientated. You have the Lich King and you have Frostitch Jaina to help close out games as well. So, let's have a look at this deck in action on the Standard mode ladder, and we're starting out against a rogue. So, you're always happy to see Keleseth in your opening hand. Turn 2 Keleseth can just be a signal that you're going to win the long game with this deck, because your minions get buffed up, you get those extra stats, and it all adds up. Now, this rogue are very interesting. It's hard these days to tell what kind of a rogue you're facing on the ladder. I mean, on wild mode, when you see a rogue, it could be a Kingsbane rogue, it could be a pirate rogue, it could be an odd rogue, and I'm going to assume that on Standard similar logic applies. Keleseth on 2. Feels amazing. So, we have the Dragonhawk in hand, but our hero power will have to have done 8 damage before we can activate it. Can you imagine if there was no condition to playing that card, if you could just play it on turn 7? The value there would be insane, because essentially Ragnaros himself on Wild costs 8 mana. So playing the Dragonhawk for 7, it's like playing a cheaper Rag. And you get the 4/4 body as well. That's pretty insane. But you've got to do the 8 damage first, which means you're probably never going to be playing that on turn 7 per se, but whenever you do play the Dragonhawk, as I say, that value is just it's immense. I guess there are complaints, people say it's a slow card, but in a deck like this deck is a slow deck, right? But you have tools to survive, you have tools to control the board, so that kind of makes up for it. Now, the more cards we play, the less value we're going to get from the Astromancer. So we do want to maybe think about slowing down a bit in terms of playing stuff from our hand. Next turn, Stonehill Defender will discover us a taunt, which will go back to our hand. So at the very least, we'll still try to maintain our hand size as best as possible before we get to turn 7. So this is a pirate rogue, and he's doing his best here to trade and to keep control of the board. My understanding of pirate rogue is that they need to be aggressive as well and do damage to your face. He hasn't done a very good job of hitting my face so far in this game. Abomination is a reasonable taunt here. The 2 damage AoE from it will at the very least kill low health, low attack pirates, or weaken bigger pirates that he plays. So that's pretty good for us. Every now and again we just need to keep an eye on the Dragonhawk just to see how much damage we still need to do before we can summon it. He's really taking his time here, he's really thinking things through.
Hey, good tickets don't come cheap.
That's interesting. Card draw.
How long can this go on? How long can this go on?
Okay, we'll give him some cards, right? We'll let him draw some cards, because it's absolutely fine. Our deck has AoE in it, it has board clears. We're not too bothered if he wants to fill the board. Drawing a Flame Strike or a Blizzard would probably be nice though. But for the time being, Meteor is probably sufficient.
I wonder.
But here come the spiders. He only gets 1. And I guess the question to ask is, do we want to commit a Meteor next turn?
I want you and you and
So Spirit of the Shark. Interesting. Getting some serious value here. He really wants a lot of sharks in his deck.
Quickly.
Just a shame it's got 0 attack. Oh, he really wants it back to hand too. Huh. Was that a good use of Shadow Step? Considering he's got so many of those in his actual deck. Did he really need to bring that back to hand? Oh. So we're saving the Meteor for something a tad more significant. Getting closer to playing our Dragonhawk.
A tactical error.
That was folly.
Oh, he's played into the AoE without realising it. Fair enough. I guess that just makes our life a bit easier. We can just ping it off when it loses stealth. Okay. Some taunts may seem reasonable, but Astromancer gets us some value here. We get a 6/5. Okay, it could be worse, I think. Floating 1 mana, and we need to do 2 more damage to get our Dragonhawk live. Wow, and he's all about the value here. If we're not careful, there will come a point in this game when we'll run out of board clears, we'll run out of flame strikes, run out of blizzards, and he'll just keep summoning spiders onto the board, and we'll just be in a lot of trouble.
Out of my jungle!
Okay, so one more damage,
How long can this go on? How long?
and we just want to keep control of the board, I guess. I mean, there is perhaps some consideration for going face here. 11 damage is a lot of damage, but I'd rather keep control of the board. Want to avoid any nasty surprises. Now, we can play the Dragonhawk next turn. We can ping and we can play it. We'll get Ragnaros out. But we need to think about what he does on this turn.
Cheated! I never fight fair!
Ooh, how interesting. So, he puts 2 pirates onto the board. What does that do for him here? Does it do enough? I mean, he has board presence, but the spiders can't attack. That's pretty significant. But we have polymorph for that, or meteor will probably be better. Or actually, do you know what would be really good here? Flame strike. If we could draw a flame strike, that would be amazing. We've also got to remember that as we play our big spells, Dragoncaller Alana becomes better and better. That is a polymorph that's not a flame strike. I do wonder if it's just time to get Ragnaros out.
Go away!
Spirit of the flame! Turn them to ash! Trivial.
That is a really cool entrance effect. And now if Rag would just hit a minion, I'd be pretty happy. Nope, Rag wants to go face. Yep, this is a face Rag. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Does he run the healing? If he doesn't, I guess this is fine. But Ragnaros the Fire Lord is a card that was a classic card, but they felt it was so powerful, you know, like with Sylvanas, that they had to banish Rag to wild mode. Yeah, so the fact that it's being reintroduced into standard via the Dragonhawk for 7 mana feels pretty good. And some of you watching this, if you are newer players to Hearthstone, if you don't play wild mode, if you just play standard, and if you started playing Hearthstone after Rag was banished to wild, maybe you've never seen Ragnaros played before, maybe you've never had the joy or the fun of playing Rag, in which case you can now play Rag through the Dragonhawk. Anyway, our Ragnaros is dead. How unfortunate. But that's what happens when you play Rag. They try to kill him as quickly as possible, because they know if they don't, bad things are going to happen. But we've done a fair amount of damage here, and we have the Lich King that can be played, but at this rate we probably won't need it. Just keep pinging his face, and we'll just win the game.
I wonder.
I hope you like my invention.
You can really see the value here of playing Spirit of the Shark. It's pretty good, right? That's a lot of spiders. And I guess this would be really good against a class that doesn't have access to as many AoEs, or to a deck that doesn't have have access to as many AoEs as I do. Interesting. I guess he had to do that. He had to kill whatever represented the most damage there. Now, if we don't draw a Flame Strike or a Blizzard, that's a Meteor. I mean, what does that do here? I don't think it does enough. And I think the Lich King is better. Yes, it's going to die. He'll trade 2 spiders into it. Actually, 3 spiders, because our Lich King has 9 health. He's certainly not putting his face into it. But just getting the 1 card from the Lich King, I think, is absolutely fine here. I think Death and Decay would have been preferable, because it would damage his face and the board. But actually, a 5 damage weapon is still pretty good. Because it's going to represent lethal, right? Unless he's able to heal, put a taunt in the way, we're going to have lethal.
This curse has become our...
And he's probably thinking, Big Spell Mage doesn't run fireballs, doesn't run frostbolts. So he's probably thinking he's in a pretty good position, unless I have something like a Flame Strike, of course. But yeah, weapon to the face, it's over. That was a really interesting game. Really interesting game. I'm really fascinated by the changes that rogues are going through now. Okay, this next game is a highlight from Tavern Brawl, the most recent Tavern Brawl, where you could make a standard deck, test your luck against other players, and you're going for 12 wins. Now, it's an interesting test for this deck, just to see how far it can go in the Tavern Brawl format. And seeing what looks to be a Zoolock, this is pretty interesting, because if we draw our AoEs, we're heavily favoured to win this game. Because Zoo's minions tend to be small, they tend to be fragile, and we've got 2 bits of AoE in our hand, 2 spells there, they're going to help us just clear board time and time again. And when these 2 spells are used up, we'll draw into more.
Why do you go? Out of my jungle!
And once again we get the Abomination as a pick, but here I'm actually going to go with the Drake. And the reason for that is, excuse me, if you look at the curve, we have Saranite Chain Gang on 4, Zul'jin on 5, we can do something interesting on 6, Flame Strike on 7, and then Primordial Drake on 8. I think it fits in better with the curve. But that Light Warden needs to go. Needs to go soon. Happy to wait until turn 5 and we can play some AoE. Didn't feel the need to polymorph it there. I feel that our taunts can do enough work here to protect us. The question is, will he sacrifice? No, he will not sacrifice it, which is absolutely fine with me. Dragon's Fury, enough to clear this board for sure. And now the Zoolock is back to square one. Feels pretty good.
Someone call for the Someone call for the doctor.
And against most other decks out there, I suppose, you know, his wide board presence on that previous turn would have been a big deal. It would have been pretty good for him. But as I said earlier, we have access to these AoEs, we have access to board control methods, techniques, so he's really going to struggle to get a foothold on the board. And I think the outcome of this game is all being but decided. He's not winning this. And if we need any more value at all, we've got the Hex Lord in our hand as well.
Mushroom power!
Fungal Mancer on 1 minion feels bad.
Unity, precision,
And now we just kill them with. So it's as if the Fungal Mancer did nothing, just sitting there all alone on the board. And I keep looking at the Hex Lord, just thinking, when's the right time to play him?
it's playtime!
Happy Ghoul without the value. Feels bad, man. Feels really bad. This seems like a good time to play the Hex Lord. Oh, some value, I guess. Another bit of AoE. Couple more taunts. Yeah. Feels good. The entrance effect for the Hex Lord with that really strange tune that gets played, it hurts my ears a lot. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I don't know. It just hurts my ears. I think they could have done a better job with the Hex Lord's entrance effect.
Unity, precision,
Playing Zoolocks again, because we can. And if this continues on for much longer, we're just going to run him out of cards. It's actually quite a satisfying feeling. Games with this Big Spell Mage, they take a long time to play. But as you just sort of wear your opponent down, slowly but surely, it's a pretty nice feeling. Pretty satisfying. So it's got me thinking about Wild Mode and how we'd play this deck in Wild. Would it be Reno Lock? Sorry, not Reno Lock. Reno Mage that would play this in? Is that the ideal deck? If you guys have any ideas about using the Dragonhawk in Wild Mode, do leave a comment below. What kind of a deck would you play the Dragonhawk in? I'd be curious to find out. Again, it really is something that I want to explore once they fix the bug. And yeah, he's had enough. He's had enough. Okay, heading into our next game here. And we're going up against a hunter. So, it looks like a secrets hunter. Could be sort of like a spell hunter, perhaps. Could be a Zul'jin hunter. So, I've published a video recently of Secrets Hunter in Wild Mode featuring Zul'jin. And Zul'jin is a lot of fun to play. A lot of fun to play. And that's thanks to a player called Duwin, who publishes a lot of hunter decks on Twitter. He's really a hunter expert. So I steal his decks and play them, and they work out very well for me. Wow, he really wants the secrets value here. The problem with his plays on those first couple of turns is that they were quite slow plays. And if my opponent is being slow, that's of benefit to me. Gives me time to gather my cards, gives me time to find AoE. With these secrets being played, we have to assume he's going to play the Spellstone very shortly. Maybe he's hunting for it now. But when that Spellstone comes down, we need a way to answer it. Flame Strike's too late, it's not going to do the job. So we're really looking for Dragon's Fury, or maybe even a Blizzard, perhaps. Happy to trigger his secrets now, before he plays Eaglehorn Bow, and that is a Howlfiend! Oh, goodbye to the Spellstone.
Well played. That was
That's so unfortunate for him. Wandering Monster can sometimes give you some terrible results. And Yeah, it's just really unfortunate. I could have coined a ping, and it would have felt really dirty doing that. He conceded.
Let the games begin.
Alright, next game. Gets another hunter. We have Khaliseth in hand. Not wanting to keep the Dragonhawk. It's too slow to keep in hand. So we have our turn 2 sorted. Khaliseth's going to be good value for us. And we're also going to be able to do 3 damage with our hero power, if we so desire. Interesting to see Skulking Geist included in the deck. I mean, I don't play enough standard mode to be able to judge whether Geist is worthwhile or not. I suppose it's good against druids that run Naturalize or Spellstones. Good against Kingsbane Rogue too, I think. So he played the Secret Keeper without the secret. And this is a full ball clip. Feels pretty good. We've managed to control the board and develop an early game presence, ball presence. What more can you ask for? And seeing Frostitch Jaina there, I think pretty much seals the deal. We've just got to wait now for an opportune moment to use Dragon's Fury, and this will probably be game over for him. What we're worried about, though, if he draws it, is Deathstalker Rexar. That's a card that, if he can generate enough... Okay, just wants to concede. Fair enough. Felt he couldn't win from there. Okay, next game. And, oh look, it's another hunter. Yes, with this Tavern Brawl, I was just facing lots and lots of hunters. I wonder if my friend Dewin on Twitter has been influencing people, convincing them to play hunter, like he convinced me to play hunter. I wonder. And once again, we have Khaliseth. This is really good. This is really, really good. I didn't want to coin Khaliseth out. In this deck, I think you want to be careful with the use of the coin, unless you have to use it. Unless there's an urgent need to put Khaliseth down on the board to combat something that he's played on the board, it's worth saving the coin, because you have lots of big spells in this deck, you have expensive minions, and the coin can come in handy in terms of getting those things out earlier.
Blood will flow.
Once again, just keeping the board clear. Apparently that was a good play. Apparently. Maybe he just wasn't expecting me to be able to clear his minion. So Misha is slightly annoying there. We're going to take the Warbear. I really like that card, by the way. The fact that it has Rush and Taunt. So it kills something and puts a roadblock in the way. I quite like that. I think it's reasonable for 7. But yeah, Misha here is pretty annoying. Because it's got 4 attack, right? And it's a taunt. And so we're going to need to look for a good opportunity for Dragon's Fury. Now is not the time. Well, now we can just kill Misha. This is pretty good. 3 damage hero power. Great for controlling the board. And apparently, again, we made another good play. Now, just to get some stuff on the board, I played the Ooze. We get rid of that weapon. We got some value on it. I think he had 2 charges left. We get some value. So to my side, this is a spell hunter. I suspect he's going to be playing Zul'jin in this deck. Happy to get the ooze back to hand. Can see some future value from it later. He'll be playing more weapons, I assume. But for now, we can just chill. We have taunts in the way. Our face is relatively safe here. Unleash the Hounds could be slightly annoying. Oh, just want to kill command your own face? Sure. Why not? Why not? Oh, it's so sad. You know, these games against the hunters in the Tavern Brawl, they've just been so funny, right? I've just been having such good luck with my opponents messing up constantly. So, just trying to debate what to do here. Perhaps drawing another taunt. To be honest, not too thrilled with any of the options. We just take another Stonehill, and we're just going to wait. He's not putting us under any significant pressure. Really, I suppose we're waiting for Zul'jin to come down on turn 10, perhaps, if he's got it in hand, or if he draws into it. In which case, by my side will get played again. We'll need AoE to beat that. Happy to use one Dragon's Fury, because we've got another one in hand. And because we've got a clear board, I'm just going to play the Stonehill Defender rather than the Tar Creeper. So all in all, this is looking pretty good for us. What we would be afraid of is Deathstalker Rexar. No? Fair enough. Doesn't feel he can win the game. That's another concede from the hunter. Right, this final clip is where it just all went wrong for me. My opponent got Deathstalker Rexar early. I couldn't maintain a board presence. He got a Flappy Bird with Wind Fury, and it was just game over from there. I just couldn't keep up. I mean, there was a chance that from this point on, getting a water elemental to stick, that maybe I could make it work. But then he did something unexpected. He played Zul'jin. And usually people look to play Zul'jin first and Deathstalker Rexar second. But in this instance, he got the value from Rexar first, played Zul'jin second, but he'd got enough value from his spells. It was enough to win him the game. By my side, getting a Huffer. Hey, kill command killing one of his own minions didn't even matter, because Animal Companion got him another Huffer. Of course it did. And, oh yeah, crushing walls for good measure. May as well clear my board fully, right? And that was enough for lethal. So, finally I faced a hunter that had a bit of luck. So, all in all, 7 wins, can't complain. The deck performed well. I enjoyed myself. I just wish that Blizzard would fix the bug with the Dragonhawk so we can play it in Wild with Brann Bronzebeard. But until that day, I guess we'll have to continue playing this deck in Standard. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what I'm going to ask? Please subscribe. I'd be very grateful. And I'll see you all again very soon for more Standard or Wild Mode fun.